Have you ever felt it? That strange, sinking feeling that you're not really in the driver's seat of your own life. You scroll through your feed and an algorithm decides what you see, what you want, even who you are. Trends tell you what to wear, headlines tell you what to fear, and the sheer momentum of society seems to pull you along like a current. You make choices, sure, but are they really yours? Or are you just a character in a story written by someone else? This is not a new feeling. It is one of the oldest, most terrifying questions in human history. Are we the masters of our fate, or just helpless pawns in a grand cosmic game we can't even comprehend? For centuries, we've been given one dominant and frankly depressing answer. But then, a philosophical madman with a glorious mustache came along and screamed no. He offered a radical, dangerous, and electrifying alternative. A blueprint for how to stop being a product of your time and start becoming a force of nature that bends reality to its will. To understand this philosophical clash, we first have to travel to the frozen plains of 19th century Russia, into the mind of a literary giant. Leo Tolstoy. In his masterpiece, War and Peace, Tolstoy paints a picture of history that is both epic and humbling. He asks you to imagine being a single soldier at the Battle of Borodino. Smoke fills the air, cannons roar, thousands of men charge. You might think your bravery, your specific actions, will turn the tide, but you are wrong. Tolstoy argues you are just one tiny, insignificant part of a colossal, unknowable force. The battle's outcome was decided long before you ever drew your sword, by a billion tiny, forgotten actions, by weather patterns, by supply chain logistics, by the collective mood of an entire nation. And what about the great leaders? The Napoleons of the world? Tolstoy saw them not as brilliant architects of destiny, but as the most visible pieces of driftwood on the surface of a raging river. They think they are steering, but they are simply being carried along by the current, deluding themselves into believing they command the flood. This is called historical determinism. It is the idea that free will is largely an illusion. You think you chose your career. Tolstoy would say your upbringing, the economy you were born into, and 1,000 other factors made that choice for you. You were simply the final domino to fall in a long, invisible line. It is a comforting idea in a way, is it not? If you fail, it is not your fault. You're just a victim of circumstance, a leaf in the wind. You can just let go and allow the great river of history to take you wherever it is going. It is a world where individual greatness is a myth, where we are all ultimately powerless. It's a bleak but strangely logical conclusion, and for a long time it felt like the only conclusion. But then, across Europe, in Germany, another thinker read this and was filled with a profound, earth-shattering disgust. Friedrich Nietzsche saw Tolstoy's worldview not as wisdom, but as the ultimate weakness, what he called a slave morality, designed to make the powerless feel better about their powerlessness. Nietzsche looked at the same world, the same history, the same humanity, and saw something completely different. He did not see a river carrying everyone along. He saw a chaotic, meaningless ocean, and the potential for certain individuals to build their own damn ship and chart their own course. This is the great man theory of destiny, the idea that history does not just happen, it is made. It is shaped and molded by individuals of immense will, creativity, and courage. These are the people who do not just ride the wave of history. They are the wave. Nietzsche's term for this ideal was the Übermensch, often translated as overman or superman. But this is not about capes and superpowers. It is about a human who has overcome the human condition, overcome the need for external validation, overcome the comforting lies of society, and overcome the very morality of their time. While Tolstoy's person is a product of their values, the Übermensch is a creator of values. They look at the rule book of society, the collective ideas of good and evil, and they do not just question it. They have the audacity to tear it up and write their own. This is a terrifying amount of responsibility. In Tolstoy's world, you are off the hook. In Nietzsche's world, you are radically, totally, and frighteningly responsible for every single aspect of your existence. There are no excuses. Think about it like this. Tolstoy sees history as a script that has already been written, and we are all just actors reading our lines. Nietzsche sees history as a blank page and he hands you the pen. The pressure is immense. The potential is infinite. So how does one even begin this process? How do you stop being a leaf in the wind and start becoming a force of nature? Nietzsche did not just pose the problem. He provided a brutal, three-step blueprint for forging your own destiny. This is where the theory becomes a personal challenge, a guide to breaking free from the unseen forces that Tolstoy believed had us all in their grip. It starts with a philosophical demolition project. Step 1. The revaluation of all values. Nietzsche demands that you take every single belief you hold dear, your ideas of success, of morality, of purpose, and place it under a microscope. And you must ask the most dangerous question of all. Why? Why do you believe that a certain career path means success? Is it because you truly want it, or because society told you to? Why do you think certain things are good and others are bad? Are these your values, or just secondhand values you inherited without thinking? This process is like setting fire to the house you grew up in. It is painful and disorienting. You have to be willing to stand in the rubble, to be utterly alone with your own thoughts, and start building your own value system from scratch, based on your own life-affirming principles. Once you have cleared the ground, you need a new foundation. This is step 2, amor fati, or the love of fate. This is one of Nietzsche's most powerful and misunderstood concepts. It does not mean passively accepting whatever happens to you. It means actively willing that everything that has ever happened to you, the good, the bad, the triumphs, the betrayals, the cringeworthy mistakes, had to happen exactly as it did. You do not just tolerate your past. You embrace it as the necessary material that forged who you are. The obstacle becomes the way. Your greatest weakness becomes your greatest strength. Instead of asking, "Why me?" you learn to shout yes, more, bring it on. This transforms you from a victim of your past into an artist who uses it as their clay. Now you have a new value system and a new relationship with your past. You need an engine to drive you forward. This is step 3, the will to power. Now, this phrase sounds intimidating, even sinister. But for Nietzsche, it was not about dominating other people. The will to power is the fundamental, internal drive of all living things to grow, to expand, to strive, and to overcome resistance. It is the acorn's drive to become an oak tree. It is the artist's drive to perfect their craft. It is your own drive for self-mastery. The Übermensch harnesses this will not to conquer nations, but to conquer themselves, to constantly push their own boundaries, to discipline their impulses, and to organize the chaos of their passions into a coherent, powerful, creative force. It is about becoming the master of your own inner world. So there it is. Revalue your beliefs, love your fate, and harness your will to power for self-overcoming. This is Nietzsche's blueprint for escaping the deterministic trap described by Tolstoy. It's a path away from being a pawn and toward becoming a player. But let us bring Tolstoy back into the ring for one final round. He would likely chuckle and ask, "My dear Nietzsche, this beautiful idea of the Übermensch, where did it come from?" He would argue that it came from your time, your culture, your specific reaction to 19th century European thought. Is Nietzsche himself not a product of his time, a crest on the wave of post-Enlightenment thinking? Is the very idea of breaking free from history itself a historical product? This is the paradox at the heart of the debate. Perhaps the truth is not an either-or. It is not Tolstoy versus Nietzsche. Maybe it is a synthesis of the two. Maybe history is a powerful river with currents we cannot ignore. Tolstoy was right about that. You cannot just wish the river away. But that does not mean you have to just float aimlessly. You can learn to swim. You can learn to read the currents. And with enough will, enough skill, enough courage, you can build a rudder. You can even build a sail to catch the winds of your time and steer yourself in a direction of your own choosing. The great man, the Übermensch, is not someone who exists outside the river of history. They are the one who has mastered the art of navigating it. They do not control the storm, but they become the master sailor who can ride it out and reach a destination of their own. They understand the forces acting upon them, as Tolstoy warned, but they refuse to be defined by them, as Nietzsche challenged. They are both a product of their time and a creator of the next one, a fusion of circumstance and will. This brings the entire massive philosophical debate crashing right back down to you right now. The world will never stop trying to shape you. The currents of culture, technology, and politics will always be there, pulling and pushing. Tolstoy's view is a crucial warning. Be aware of these forces. Do not be naive enough to think you are completely immune to the times you live in. Understand the game being played around you. Know the currents you are swimming in. But Nietzsche's view is the ultimate challenge. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to accept the values handed to you? Are you going to let your past define your future? Or are you going to take up the pen and start writing? So the next time you feel that sinking feeling that you are just a product of your time, a helpless pawn being moved across the board, you have to ask yourself a very simple but life-altering question. Whose game is it anyway?